Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat and today is Sunday, August 9th, 2020. If you're watching the VODs on YouTube, do not forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you are so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/Otaku Showboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. You can do all of the social stuff through the links below the video, including supporting Pionodon's mods development at patreon.com/Pionodon and myself at patreon.com/Otaku Showboat. And today, the kitties are here. Yes, I know, I picked you up, I disturbed you, you were sleeping. You were sleeping next to me. My Dolly. Dolly was resting, now she's not resting so much. Yes, those are the lights. Those are the lights, my sweet baby. Here, you can be on my lap if you want, or do you just want to go right back where you were? No, you're gonna go see what's happening at the window. All right, you're gonna probably see Ollie then, because Ollie's in the window right now. So yeah, I left the door open at the start. That's the main thing. So let's get into the updates for all of the Pie Suite as well as stuff that I have done off screen. So there's a few things to discuss here at the beginning. Primarily, Pi Raw Wars has been updated, and yeah, it's a biggie. It's a bit of a biggie. So like the less biggie of stuff is that there was a nerf to chromium at pulp 7 to produce less chromite sand out of chromium pulp 7. There was an increase to the processing of iron at high grade and beyond, the post unslimed iron, because remember last time we talked about how you could skip processing of the actual unslimed iron, process the iron pulp into the high grade, but skip processing unslimed into high grade and have a similar output as the actual full high grade processing. Well, now that is no longer the case. At least it should no longer be the case. There we go. Hit that refresh button, and there we go. Now we have 73.7 out instead of 55.8. So it got buffed on the output of the unslimed iron part of this processing chain, which means that there should now be somewhat increased outputs here further down in the further processing setups. So that is quite nifty that is the case now. Also, molten aluminium. If I go over here to aluminium, the molten aluminium at reduction has been increased. This was, I think, in large part due to the updated tutorial that I made, where I pointed out and I showed that the reduction versus high grade, despite both being available at Blue Science for aluminium, one of those rare circumstances where you actually have access to reduction first rather than reduction and sintering together. It wasn't that much of a difference between the two. It's like they were barely there was barely any difference between doing reduction versus doing high grade, despite needing circuit 3s to go into reduction for the direct reduction plants. So that has also been updated. But the by far the biggest change has been to titanium plates. So titanium at green science. I actually like this is supposed to be the next tutorial, but I haven't recorded it yet. I will be recording it, I guess, this afternoon. I suppose after the stream. That will go live tomorrow because this is the next in the line. I guess it's this or lead, but I did the full breakdown of this one already. And what I had noticed in the full breakdown of this is this right here. So I have not hit this refresh button yet, so this is showing us what the old values are versus what the new values are. So previously, at Grain Science, oh, there's Ollie. Hey, Ollie, you're not going anywhere until you say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Yes, say hi. I know. Say hi. That's the Ollie. Yes. You wanna go? There you go. That's it. You said hi. Yes, we are now looking at the updated titanium. So this is the old, and this is the problem that needed to be solved. So I'm just showing the problem that needed to be solved with the titanium. So right here, these two things right here. This one was processing of grade 4 titanium into plates directly. No hot air. Gave 3.8 out of 15 in. And then when you go to molten, it would give you 3.9 plates out of hot air casting. So that's 25% more by doing the hot air casting. Yet they're on par with each other. The reason being, you can't actually process this titanium pulp 3 until the next science phase. So that was inherently part of the problem, is that you had a pulp 3 that you couldn't do anything with, and you could only get molten out of the processing of the other stuff, this concentrate stuff. Actually, like 3.2 without hot air. Yeah, it's worse objectively without hot air than casting of grade 4 to get molten. And and you couldn't actually do it anyway until Blue Science because it had the jig as a requirement in that process. So there was several things that were wrong. Even though it unlocked at green, you couldn't do it until blue because of the jig requiring circuit twos as well as electric engine units. And it has stainless steel, but that's actually fine that it uses stainless steel. That's While it's a very important component on the process to getting into circuit twos, it's not the component that unlocks circuit twos. So it does delay it a little bit past just having green science to get into molten titanium. It gives you a reason to go into grade 4 and then upgrade into the molten. And it's good to have the molten. It's still really expensive on MIBC. There's other parts here that could do with a few balancing adjustments, but this was the biggie here, is that this was objectively worse. So this has been updated. This has been updated. I have changed this to be hot air again. King Arthur provided the new production line, and I just changed it to hot air so we can have an idea of what this hot air output looks like on the plates, but it'll be the same molten output regardless. So the 3.8 stands on the grade 4 processing in here, but now, you can actually make the jig at Grain Science. You do still need the stainless steel, which is fine. That that's fine. That's a good enough of a delay to have a delay. It uses engine units now instead of electric engine units, and it uses circuit 1s rather than circuit 2s. So there's now an actual noticeable difference in the material costs between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 jig, because that was another problem with the jig, is the Mark 2 version of the jig was like almost, I would consider, less expensive than the Mark 1. It's like it was less complex to make the Mark 2 jig compared to the Mark 1. So yeah, that is smoothed out now. So we can actually do this. We can actually do this. So everything up to the grade 4 is the same, and then processing of the grade 4 gives you the pulp stage 3 and the powdered just like before, and that powdered will go into the enriched dust that then gets processed in that 15.6 molten titanium. That part's the same, but now we have access to being able to process the pulp 3 into purified pulp, and then the purified pulp into high grade powder, into concentrated titanium. We are not able to process the overflow waste until blue science. That's the key here, is we can't convert the concentrated into high grade, and we can't convert the overflow waste into additional concentrated the for the high grade. So this ends up giving a combined total from 15 ore in to 75 molten out, which with hot air casting is 18.8. That's with a 25% difference. I'm assuming that's somewhere around 15 base. Yeah, it's 15 plates out, so it's a 1-to-1 ore to plates. Yeah, it's 1-to-1 ore to plates. That's 18.8 because it's rounding. Hellmod rounds up from 18.75. So yeah, my hunch is that it's 15 without the hot air, and then with the hot air, 25% more for 18.75, which is a significant difference, and significantly better than 3.8. Right? That's significantly better than 3.8. This is actually worth looking into to do at green. Of course, as I had said, the main balancing things is that this methyl isobutyl carbonyl is a pretty significant amount of petroleum gas for this phase of the game, but so it's an investment to get into here. Yeah, especially if you're trying to do at scale with like processing a bunch of ore into plates. This adds up on the petroleum glass and a bit on the copper too, but it's not like copper is particularly expensive to make regardless. And you need to have heavy oil, and you need to have sulfuric acid, which I guess by the time you have stainless steel, you have sulfuric acid and a way of getting sulfuric acid consistently. So that should be okay. At least I think by the time you have stainless steel, you should absolutely have sulfuric. At the very least, you'll have sulfuric when you get rare earth oxides. So this whole phase of the game, this is one of the things you'll need, regardless. So yeah, like how much? 50.6 heavy oil and 35 sulfuric per 15 titanium ore. I think I can live with that. It's just MIBC gets used for tin and titanium, and it gets used a lot, significantly more in titanium compared to tin. Like the tin usage is fine on its MIBC, which it doesn't need until high grade processing as well. Like this uses MIBC on this step right here, or is this the one that uses a lot? I am confruzzled. So this is the one that uses a lot. Alright, I take back everything. It's the tin that uses a ton, not the titanium. Yeah, this uses 160.8. But regardless, like MIBC just in general, I think is a little bit expensive to make. It's 150 petroleum into 200 MIBC. You're still spending that 150, and you're spending acetone, and you're spending copper. So it's like, do I or don't I? Situation. That is always going to be the slightest of slightest issues. Now, fortunately, the key here is that in order to get molten tin, you don't need MIBC. In order to get molten titanium, you need to get MIBC. So that's the trick here, I guess, is to even have any amounts of molten titanium, you need that methyl isobutyl carbonyl. However, we're going to be doing tin today to that first molten casting. That is what we're going to be doing right there, with about 30 ore in, approximately 30. But we have to actually get that ore, because I did not do that off screen. Oops. I was supposed to do this to prep today, so I guess we can watch and see how we go about getting this ore. And yes, this is also going to give us 30 aluminium, so the next processing that we do is going to be aluminium. This is interesting because this quenching tower recipe needs tailings in. This one needs tailings in. So I need to divert a consistent supply of tailings in order to actually make this stuff. Now, it makes 5 each of each ore per quenching tower, so that's another... This is really high output of the ore types. Really high, but it's tailings. And tar. It does feed back a few tailings, but... Just... Eh? That doesn't matter so much. I think I should have the matrix solver. Does that actually do anything? Not much, but yeah. So that's 1200 that you need minus 3 minus 120. Apparently that's 780. 0.1 in here. So this, by the way, this recipe at the very bottom here exists just so that Hellmod doesn't bloat the other stuff. So it's this right here, the little, look for the little blue circle, this resource recipe icon. It gives you the ability to just put a recipe in that makes something that you need, so that if it's a byproduct of other recipes, Hellmod won't try to get the full ingredient supply from those byproducts. This is quite a convenient feature. It doesn't always work, but it does often. So I'm okay with that existing. So this is what we will do today. However, I need to cover what we did off screen. What did I do off screen? A little bit. A little bit. Is this able to actually have... No. Of of course not. That needs to be there. And why are you still not powered? Ah, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. There you go. There you... Oh, that has power already. Good. But then why are you not placed? Hello? Bots? There's no reason why this one can't be placed. Hello? Bots? Are you... Ah, it's you. It's you. They're just waiting on bots. So I have a bit more power. As you can probably tell, I may or may not have had a little bit of a problem arise earlier today, as in right before the stream, like about an hour or so before the stream. I may have had a little bit of a problem with power. So, yeah, I have expanded. I have expanded my power by, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 900 megawatts-ish. Just, you know, casually adding almost a gigawatt of power to the base. I need to make all the buildings for it still. That's going, but yeah. So power, that was a biggie. Also, some amounts of solar panels, just so that if I do run out of power again, it's not completely dead. It's not completely dead, but and I also need to, while I'm walking, to take care of a few niggling things. Just a little bit of small removal of pipes that I need to do up at the top because I tapped into my emergency supply of combustion mixture to get things rolling again once I had the setup made for additional power, and was pretty confident that if it was running, it would produce enough power to supply the whole base. I went up here and I tapped into a few of these beautiful containers, tanks. Oh, I hear a dolly. Hello. Hello, I tapped into a few of these tanks just to get everything going again. See, that's those two. Hello, my dolly. She's resting now next to me on the desk. She avoids the towel most of the time. She very rarely actually it lays down on the towel next to me, but chooses the little bit of space doesn't that doesn't have the towel. It is always frustrating. It's like I put the towel down for you to sleep on, but I guess she doesn't like the towel texture or something. She must not like it. She prefers the bare desk over the towel. Like, okay. And I have one of those SNES minis on, like, also sitting on the desk, and she uses it as a pillow. Sometimes she just rests her head on the thing. It's like, really? Really? Why? Why you do this? There's one more that I missed on the left here. So yeah, power was big, but why did I need that much power? Well, as it turns out, so I finished the copper molten processing of the grade 4, and I put it on the train network. So I think that's one of the ones I missed. This is the other one. There we go. So I finished off the copper in here. So now I have plates. We'll go and we'll have a look at that. I also added 200 molten glass per second production. Each of these is 50, which is just hilarious and insane. This process is a process that I was already doing up here, this big blank space now, this big blank area. Yeah, that's what I was doing already. I just moved it into Factorissimo factories. Just quartz from sand and into crushed and then powdered quartz processing. And we can have a look at all of this as well once I get through the copper. I also added 15 per second of coal production from seaweed, as well as 15 per second of wood production, and 2 latex per second. Down somewhere here, this 2 latex per second, and yeah, two glassware per second. And I put all those things onto the network. So I have glassware now, and the latex, and a big train station in here, and a few more added things for the glass. Oh, and borax. Right. I put the borax onto the train network as well. Brought it over from where I was making it. Hello. I have stuffs and things. So remember last time how I was making grade 4? Grade 4 copper? Yeah, I now have all of that being processed. All of that's being processed. Finished off the grade 4. And now have all of that going into molten. These are identical to the iron, by the way. This is the same layout as what I have for iron, just making copper instead. My normal standard, my standard processing. Oh, by the way, I've I sort of have over 200 Factorissimo factories now. So a few of them now have a second factory on the same surface. But just so as we're clear on that, it's you aren't limited to the by count for factories at all. It just starts reusing surfaces and appending factories to each surface as you go on. But yay, all that good stuff. So I have casted plates. It's actually 75 effectively out. That's what it's tuned to. It can do more than 75, but that, or 75 each. Or did I tune that? What did I tune it to? 8. I've 8 belts. 8 belts. What's 8 belts? 120. I think it's like capable of 130 something, but yeah, 120. 120, which is the amount of ore going into this process, is the throughput out I have. Just because of stuff and things. Yeah, this is a few belts. This is a few belts to load into that bulk rail loader. So yeah. Also have the I have the borax here and the molten glass in here. Yay. Stuff things. We did it. Now I have to now to show the glass, and then show the latex and the coal and the wood and all of that good stuff, because I did all that off screen, and then we can get into the actual tin stuff as we get through this. So this is tar. This is tar, which I think we've seen tar with a little bit of syngas, but yeah, primarily tar from stone, and then coke from the tar, as well as the remaining conversion into syngas that I need in this area. Just 3 thingies making syngas to use as the fuel for the processing into molten. Now this is 2 sets. Each set makes 25 molten glass, and each of these is like 1 quartz. So 1 quartz per Mark 1 factory in here out of sand. All of that. And that all goes into this factory that also needs pure sand in. So that's the quartz into crushed into powdered, with the byproducts heading out. And then over here we have the pure sand times 2 to make enough pure sand to get this going, and that's making 25 glass times 2. And of course all the voiding. I had enough space to void. Yay! And then times 4 of these. So yeah, 200 per second making glass with room to expand. I will need more than 200 per second going forward, but yeah, for now it's fine. Now let's head on over, look at the coal and wood and latex setups. Have a look at that. So this is a long line of just this. In a single Mark II factory smo factory, I can fit 9 whole basic seaweed crops times infinity number of buildings. Like literally every single one of these it's just seaweed. All of these are seaweed. So let's have a look at the wood, because the wood doesn't use seaweed. This is 15 per second of wood. It's coke. It's coke. This is all the tar stone into tar. A lot more tar than I really need, but tar and coke for voiding primarily, I think. And then this is the moss. Yes, primarily the moss. Oh, looks like I need to set that output only. I don't know, some of these got reset somehow, I think. These inputs, outputs, settings. So moss out and CO2 out, because I'm using a recipe for the wood that is CO2 and tailings. Yes, CO2 and tailings. So here I'm making tailings out of lead and chromium, out of the lead and chromium quenching tower recipe. This alone provides enough tailings to feed my 15 wood per second, plus zero point 0.6 more for the seedlings. So the tar comes in. This is why I needed the tar, just to convert tar to tailings. A lot of tailings per unit tar, voiding all of the ores that are output of here. And then the building here takes the moss and tree seeds to make seedlings. Needs 9, so I'm glad that it fit, because it needs all 9. Is Factory Smo any good? Factory Smo's pretty good, yes. However, performance. It's good, but performance. And part of it is how I've built thus far. I am in the process of redoing a lot of my existing Factory Smo buildings to make it a little bit more friendly for UPS. Let's just say that this is not the ideal method of doing the input and output for these factories. It is not ideal. Yeah, each one of these is 4 fast woods. You cannot fit more than 4 fast woods inside of a Mark 1 factory. I did have enough room, though, to stagger them to make the pipe logistics a little bit easier for me, and it's that times that many. I needed 9, but I placed 10 down, and then a whole bunch of wood processing units to make the wood from here. So yeah, that is that. Yeah, I have been enjoying Factory Smo, but it is a bit heavy on the performance. It impacts not just the script stuff for the input output across surfaces, but it also impacts the electric network. So if I go into show time usage, we can see in here right now that entity update is like just shy of 3, which is already fairly high. So I have a lot of entities right now, just a few entities to get that much. But then the electric network is actually higher than entity update right now. That is insane. Like, what? Like, what? That is really high. That is really high for electric network, and it all has to do, I believe, with how Factory Smo handles power. That's why it's that high. And then the actual Factory Smo script here, if I can, it keeps popping up and down between 1 and 2. Like, I saw it hit 2 there briefly. So yeah, 2. 1.67 ish average, I guess. That is a lot for one mod. That is a lot. That is a lot for just one script. And it's the vast majority of the script update right now. And that's going to increase as I get more factories. So the thing that I did wrong, well, things, plural, that I did wrong with my designs for the Factory Smo buildings is that I did direct belt connections. So as it turns out, when you do direct belt connections, the game has to process each and every item on the belt going into the factory or out of the factory. So it's performing a calculation on each and every individual item, which you might imagine adds up a bit. So the solution is to use chests. Chests have a higher throughput at a lot lower of a performance penalty. So it's better performance with more throughput using chests. In this Factory Smo build, which is Factory Smo 2, in order to actually do the chest thing, you need to have a chest on both sides of input and output. So if I do that here, Actually, this gives me a golden opportunity to show that I have added the merging chests mod. So I can now take an arbitrary number of chests, steel chests, and merge them into a single chest. Like, and it's very arbitrary. I could just take however many and just merge into a single chest. And it gives back, by the way, all of the chests. It also seems to set the stack size of steel chests to 1600 for some reason. I don't really know why, but that is what it does. And what this allows by using chests on each side, is you can set the connection setting down to a 600 delay, which I think is 15 per second throughput. Up to. Like, I'm pretty sure it's fine for a 15 per second throughput at delay 600. So that helps to take care of the stuff here. I mean, I don't particularly care about the size of the chest. In fact, the chest size doesn't particularly matter to me. I can limit this. I should limit this drastically. Someone's playing. Who's playing? Who's playing? Dolly got attention drawn. Hi. Anyway, so you should use the chests is the point here, and then with pipes, theoretically speaking, it's technically better performance-wise to barrel fluids and use the chests to move the barrels. Granted, then you have to unbarrel in the factory building, which has its own problems. So if you're using pipe, really what you should do is use these bulk transfer pipes, input and output, and by doing that you can again set the connection setting to its minimum / maximum tick rate to process one every 120 ticks rather than the default, which is delay 10, once every 10 ticks. These are large enough pipes. Actually, it's output. It's X's to O's. X's to O's. Now you see the problem here is that I have this here, right? So this is the inherent problem of my designs at the moment, is that I need to merge. It won't let you actually change that. All right, fine. Be that way. I don't even need the big chest anymore. I just need actually you there. Excuse me, do the thing. Then, oh. And by the way, these can absolutely be placed directly next to each other. They have an orientation that you can set manually. Oh, that's input. Right, so this also needs to be an X to an O. And then I can reduce that to the 120 tick rate. And that can be moved down. An O. And an X. So you see how the X fills and then it ticks? This has a throughput up to 1250, even at tick rate 120. So that's enough for one pipe, right? That is more than enough for one pipe to have the tick rate down at 120, just with how much stuff these individuals hold. Apparently, that's what it says on the Factorismo page, is that at the tick rate 120, transferring between the bulk pipes is 1250-ish, around just over 1200. So yeah, yay. This is inherently better for performance by doing this in this way, and I can set the delays down to 120 for fluids. And I have to do that for every single factory snow building, including all the internal buildings in the entire base. That is the mission. Like, I have to redesign in this way across the entire base. So, obviously, I am primarily going to do that off screen. Just showing here just how it's done. And this is why I wanted the merge chests. This is why I wanted the merge chests mod, is because it allows me to, because this stupidity here of this wall segment that's unbuildable terrain on the edge, this factory wall BS, it makes it so that you're restricted to doing this, basically. So yeah, I wanted the merged chest so that I could have an output right-angled outputs, which I do a lot of across the base. Hello, welcome. I'm just updating folks on stuff that I had done between streams at the moment and things that I will need to be doing going forward. We are now going to look at the coal processing, the 15 coal per second. What's the mods? Do exclamation mark mods. And you can see the full list of mods. This is the Pi Suite, the full Pi Suite, with PyBlock, which is a C-block style of playthrough. Maybe you can edit to remove the wall. I'm pretty sure the wall is here for a reason. For reasons. Good reasons. So here's the processing of seaweed. Seaweed gets processed into raw coal, and then the raw coal is being crushed in the secondary crusher, screened, and then crushed again. This is green science raw coal processing. This is my first time truly doing green science raw coal processing in an actual Pi game for actual coal that I want to use. This is the first time I have really done this, and it's being done out of seaweed for PyBlock. Raw coal processing used to be useless, but now it's required because vanilla coal is replaced with raw coal in base Factorio. That's the main thing. There'll be a tutorial updated version where I talk about raw coal and how it's now absolutely 100% necessary. However, green science is really for PyBlock. Green science is where it's at for processing of raw coal, because you can actually process all of the byproducts except for the coal dust. So at green science, you can do the crushing into crushed coal and coal dust, and then process the crushed coal into coarse, and then process the coarse into coal. So you can actually process all the stuff into coal. And this is the better process comparing to the wood process. This is better than the wood into coal in PyBlock right now. Now, coke is another story entirely, and coke is straight up tar at this point. The current state is tar into coke via the heavy oil recipe. That's just coke on demand wherever you want. No real necessary need at this point to process coal into coke. So, latex. Latex. It's the same set of seaweed stuffs times 6 for latex. Each of these factories makes one. It needs the iron, copper, and seaweed in. and it makes latex out. That's all it needs. Latex, glorious latex. So, where does this begin? This begins with making stone, through my standard setup to make stone, as well as making tar, a little bit of tar. I've used that already, and this is converting tar into biomass and more biomass, and the voiding of stuffs. And then down here we have the sap extractors, giving plenty of sap to feed this, with limestone, lots of limestone. Could barely fit 12. Can barely get the 12 for the limestone in on this. In here, it's the formic acid. The biomass comes in from the top, making the CO2 for the formic acid, as well as steam that's going to be used for the pulp mills at the very end. So this steam gets used at the last step of the process, and otherwise formic acid, using fairly significant amounts of copper and iron. Fairly significant amounts of copper and iron get used in there. In here, this is the creamy latex. Not that much space, but hey, creamy latex. In here is the sodium alginate. Glorious, beautiful sodium alginate from the seaweed and the limestone and stone. In here, we've got the slabs. That's taking the sodium alginate and the formic acid. They're coming in and being processed into latex slabs, and then the latex slabs into latex by adding steam in pulp mills. So there's latex. This makes 1 latex per second, and I have 2 of them at the moment. At the moment, I have the resources to do more. It's just, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of buildings. It's a lot of buildings. That is my problem at the moment. Is that it's just lots of buildings. Lots of buildings. So our last little diversion is to have a look at the glassware. Glassware is so much nicer when you already have the latex. So in here, now this is one of the factory setups I have fully adjusted at this point, at least from what I can do at the moment. We can see we've got the chest logistics for all of the stone. All of the stone into tar. Tar into syngas out of the oxygen recipe. So that's just the tar again. This is coke again, and this is glassware. 2 glassware per second. You can see I have a little bit more room for additional output, but yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. What is infuriating, though, is that this is a shared belt, and the chest stuff does not work so well if you have a shared belt, if you want a shared belt on the input. So I'm going to have to move this to the side. I'm going to have to somehow move this to the side and then merge from the side. Most likely. If I really want to use the chest logistic in here to avoid the direct belt input and all the performance loss from that. So you need coal and latex. Thus why I have coal and latex, because I was planning this. This is the boron trioxide hot air processing that gives 4 glassware per craft. So this is the best available process I have right now. Here's boron trioxide, taking borax, processing into diborane, into boric acid. In here, this one thingy, making a bunch of boric acid, and then processing into the boron trioxide. Yeah. Just add coke. Just add coke. And there you go. There's my 2 whole units of glassware per second. And with that, we have finished We have finished the stuff that I did off screen, and all of this is now working. Yay! I have the power. I have power to work with. Lots of power to work with. It's not 3.6 gigawatts, though. It's nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. And fortunately, this is also upgradable power when I get access to the Mark II turbines. Yes, when I get access to the Mark II turbines, it will be even more glorious. Okay. All of that being said, it is now time to think about tin and start making tin now that it's been 52 minutes. It has been an hour. Yeah. Yeah. Been an hour. Oh, right. I need to put those on request. And then I need to export my personal logistics. Copy. And paste. Yes. I need to make sure that close, export, copy, paste. Make sure I have the actual full thing and I didn't mess it up somehow. That is all of that request set. Good. Where did I park, by the way? Where did I park my vehicle? Crawdad? Wherefore art thou? I don't know. I have lost my crawdad. It is somewhere. It went somewhere. I'll find it at some point. It doesn't. Oh, there it is. Hi, Crawdad. There, you're way up there. Oh well. I'm also on times 5, technically, but we can pretty much tell that I am not getting times 5 speed. I am getting 1.5 at the most, so I may as well just set it to 1.5 now. Note that it's taken a lot less real time to get to this point compared to Paidu Valley. Like, Paidu Valley, I was on times 2, like, through purple, at least. Purple science? Yeah, so this is... But this is a much bigger scale, even, than Paidu, overall. Like, in terms of this ore processing stuff that I've done thus far. It is much, 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 much larger. Alright, so I'm here at the mall to pick up some quenching towers, I think. I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze. There it goes. There it goes. I have quenching towers. I have enough quenching towers. I have enough DDs. I have the things. I have all these. So we're actually good. I don't need to be here. We can go and start our tin. Start our better tin. Now, why did I put the glassware and stuff onto my network and do the latex and all that? It's because I'm working on getting all of the stuff on my mall on my train network, and I'm not forcing you to watch me put the stuff that's on my mall onto my train network, especially the stuff that hasn't changed in the process of making it, right? Would I need a new coal tutorial as well now that the coal deposits are not spawned for Pylean life? Well, that's going to be the raw coal processing video. I mean, that is the raw coal processing video. Overall, but yeah, yes, that, like, overall, like, what to do with coal processing, making coal and making coke. Did I even do that type of video before? I don't know. I don't think so. But like, actual coke processing and such, like, there's so many options for that. All right, so I'm heading up here where I have the copper as well as this. That is still fine as is. Well, I mean, the only difference is now raw coal is necessary, so you can technically watch the raw coal processing video where I go over and show the raw coal processing, I just ignore me saying that it's completely optional and not worth doing because vanilla coal exists, because vanilla coal no longer exists and is now necessary to do it. So just think of it in light of this is now a necessary process. It has not changed at all outside of the fact that now it's only raw coal and not coal that you have access to on a standard Pi game. Now, PyBlock, of course, is very, very, very different in everything. It's quite different. There are more options. You can get coal through other means, through converting wood to coal in a 1-to-1 ratio. Quite easily, that is the thing. So what I have done up here is I have taken 4 of these. Hello, welcome. I have taken 4 of these outputs of tailings from my copper and iron setup. Remember that in the copper and iron setup, I am consistently voiding excess copper and iron ore. The excess copper and iron is being consistently voided, so that means I have a consistent supply of tailings, as well as saline and flue gas if I wanted to tap into those here. But I need so much if I wanted to do stuff at scale. Note that I was originally toying with the idea of doing the tin at 75. I was toying with this idea, but then I looked here and it's like, oh, that's a few tailings, right? Like, oh, that is a few tailings. So yeah, no. And I thought that 75 ended up being like more than I needed in the entirety of the Pi Valley playthrough. Like if I'm not mistaken, in the Pi Valley playthrough, I stuck with 75 tin through the entirety of that playthrough. I'd never upgraded it. Yes, I had a lot of productivity shenanigans going on at the very end, but yeah, I never went back and upgraded it. I made it molten. That's all I did. I made it molten from the previous casting, but otherwise it stayed at 75. Dolly. You're not going into the closet. You're not going into the closet, Dolly. Yeah, you're not going to go into the closet today. Yes, get onto the lap and just lay down. Yes, 75 Dolly per second. Yes, let's have lots of Dolly. And it's DOLLEY for Dolly. That's her name spelling. For some reason it's EY. Yes, hi. And bye. No, not IE. EY. Yeah, yes, DOLLEY is Dolly. DOLLEY. Ollie. Ollie is OLLIE. Get away. Get away from that. Apparently named for someone named Dolly Madison, a First Lady of the United States. So, yeah, and then Ollie is named Oliver for Oliver Twist. And he is OLLIE. Ollie. So, 15 or 30. 30. Yes, that was the one. The plan is to do the 30 output here and then upgrade it as time goes on. Not 30. And then upgrade as time goes on. So we have to start with this. And I have the tailings, the access to the tailings here. Now, do I want to do this right in this same block as both of these other two things? Well, I don't have more room here is the problem, so I need to probably just bring it over and do it here. Bring over the tailings. I think I only really need one of these at this point, so I'll bring one pipe over for my tailings. Now, I think it's still one pipe even without doing the stuff. Oh no, it's definitely I am definitely looping in here. Yeah. So the most amount I have of tailings for each of these pipes is 1,000. 1,000 units per pipe. Oh, that's unfortunate. You don't happen to have the length, do you? No. Not until you're multi-purpose. If you were multi-purpose, you would be fine, but you are not multi-purpose yet. Multi-porpoise. I already took care of and have proper spacing, so this is fine. I can easily go across here. I need to have the bulk transfers on the coke, but that's going to be easy enough. I'll work on that off screen. I could do it in here. There is room on this for adding tin and aluminium, so I guess I will do this here. Make use of my space, right? Like, there's no point in having all of these huge grid squares if I'm not going to actually use the space of the grid squares, right? Let's use the space in the grid squares. And there's enough room here to like quadruple the amount of wood that I have. And the thing about these is they are literally place wherever. I can copy the whole dang thing and place it wherever I want. It's on-demand stuff. I can make it anywhere without any inputs. But I can't do that so much with what I'm about to build with these tailings. That ended up there. That's only one tile, so that's fine. Alright. So, starting up with this. In this factory, I need tar. I'm just thinking a little bit about whether or not I want, like, this I think is vastly overproducing. Yes, this is vastly overproducing. I am going to... No, you see, I need 600 tar. This is very different. So I need a lot more. A lot more than just this. So this is 10. So this does make 250 each. This absolutely makes 250 each of tar. So I'm going to grab this whole thing. I said I'm going to grab this whole thing. I probably already have this whole thing, but I want it with all of the Oh, do you have all of the adjusted setups? No, you don't. Which one did? Was it you? But you have the syngas and you don't. I want this, but I want it adjusted. So I guess I will go ahead and do that adjustment now. This does require a little bit of work. to take care of this. There we go. And I have to do that times 10. Like, times 10 and do that. Yeah. Hello? Ollie jumping at my green screen. Why you jump at green screen? Up. Yes. That works. I just need to delete. Let's grab that. Make sure I set this to the correct delays and such. There we go. Can you imagine how mind-numbing this is, trying to do this, like, 200 times plus? This is such thrilling gameplay. Doing all these, fixes. And they're necessary fixes, too, which is, like, even more frustrating. Is that I need to do this for performance. Beautiful tedium. Such glorious tedium. Good. It kept the copy of the thingy, and I think this is the last one. Yeah, the factory SMO issues are already popping up. Yes, that I have greater than 200 factories. Just to make this clear, I have greater than 200, more like 300 at this point, most likely, of factory SMO factories. Of course, I'm having some performance impacts from them. Hello! Welcome! Welcome! What did you miss? Close to an hour of stuff that I did off screen, as well as updates to the raw ores processing of titanium discussion. Yeah, discussion about factory SMO and why chest connections are necessary, as well as the bulk input-output stuff. And you know what? While I'm here, I may as well do the complete upgrading. It's X's to O's. Like, let's be clear. This is X's to O's. And reduce that delay to 120. You need to be a thing. A merged thing. That's a good question. How does this handle the merged chests? If I blueprint them. I think they are blueprintable. Use that. I need more than 15, actually. So let's make that a beautiful thing. What do I think about the new tech choice thing? What do you mean tech choice thing? What new tech choice thing? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you doing? You're playing with a bag. Ollie's behind me, up against the green screen, just playing with a produce bag that he got somehow. Right, think... I think this is fine. No, one more. There you go. There it goes. Conversation about work in progress stuff on Discord. I mean, I haven't read anything about that at all. I haven't read anything about that at all. If you mean something along the lines of the choice between cotton guts and regular, like how you get your science, or what? Or are you referring to the uh, vanilla behavior of the game where you have a choice between making productivity or utility science, like you have access to those two things? Did I see the jumping train mod? I saw the picture of it that got posted. I saw the picture of it that got posted, but that's it. So yeah, I need more factory buildings. Like, seriously, I need 3. I need 3 of that. This is why I did that fixing of things beforehand, is because I need 3 of these. Each one's 250. Each one makes approximately 250. It's a little less because there's stuff here. Oh, text to choose that give upgrades to animal buildings. Oh, well that is good. Like, I would personally take the speed every time. Every time. I would take more speed on the animal buildings. Productivity is tempting, but depending on when you get access to these things, speed is better. Just because, like, oh, late, well, then absolutely productivity. Like, yes, if it comes late, then absolutely productivity, because the late game recipes are super fast as it is. Hello, Ollie. Ollie. Hi. Hi. Give a bag. This is a former. This is a former produce bag. This is what Ollie's been playing with behind me. Former produce bag. That is going in my pocket for now. Please stop, mister. Big, wide, wild eyes. Do I have coffee? Yes. 15 minutes before the break. Let's do this. So I am requesting 5 factories. Wait, what? Oh, right. Those are still empty. They're just assigned already. See, this is another problem. Hi, you're looking for stuff that I don't have. Hi. Hi. He looks and then he just bolts. Bolts away. Alright, let me... I need my car. Let's get my car. Because I need a few buildings. Factory buildings. Just a few Mark 1 factories. Definitely making use of recursion on this. That's another warning, by the way, that's on the Factory Smo 2 mod page, is to not build linear recursion too deep to make one thing. Like, it's better to branch as much as possible rather than keep going deeper and deeper in the recursion on these buildings. So that I've while at the moment it's impossible to go multiple levels deep on the recursion until I pick up the recursion 2 tech. I'm going to still keep building in this way, I think, is just not go too deeply into it. And apparently I've seen there was something about a post on Reddit that was about performance, and apparently someone was trying to build an entire base through Factory Smo recursion, like an entire base of stuff in a single Factory Smo factory through the power of recursion. But that would be very difficult and high cost on performance, like really high cost on performance. So I've got my buddy here. I need to throw factory buildings into him. Let's see. All the factories. All of the things. Are the factories indestructible? No. No, they are not. They have a lot of health, but they are not indestructible. Like I can hit them and they will take damage. They do have some amount of health. Now, I will note that the factories are just like gateways into another dimension. Effectively, they are merely the doors to another dimension. I have hit them with the crawdad at full speed, and it does not kill them immediately. Like we can test. Back it up. We can test. We can test this thing. So we're at full speed and bang. So, yeah, it barely does. These have 2,000 health on the Mark 1 factories. Did that set it to inactive? Yes, it did. Alright, that's what I need to know. So the buildings that are set to inactive don't get auto-placed through construction bots and such. They get lost. And there's actually a tech. There is an entire tech devoted to being able to find your inactive buildings if they're in a logistics system. It just delivers all of the inactive buildings into a chest. Give me stuff. Now, the problem I have with Factory Smo, generally, is that when you copy to make a blueprint, it does not copy the internal contents of any other factories. Like, it doesn't copy internal contents on blueprints, which is a shame. An absolute shame that it does not copy internal contents. So what you have to do is you have to, like, go in and, like, grab what you need. Also make updated blueprints. Just place. It also doesn't copy the input modes either, which is another shame. Like, really? Why you no copy input modes? That sucks beyond belief. Just grab that, paste it 10 times. What could possibly go wrong? Paste it 30 times, I should say. Yeah, just grab this and paste it 30 times. You may notice the slight issue. There's a slight issue I might have. Yeah, do you know the issue I might have? If you said that's a lot of buildings, you'd be right. That is a lot of buildings. That is 30 times 6 on the soil extractors and times 3 on the washers. There's a reason why my power is so bad. Yes, no, increase power limit, thanks. Increase the power limit. That'd be great. It's also a lot of water wells. Paste that down. We have to do this whole process 2 more times. All this for tar. So if you were ever questioning the balance of making tar in PyBlock, I present to you Exhibit A of the tedium of tar in its current state. This is 250 tar per second, this build. I think. Maybe? No, this can't possibly be. No, this is... Oh, I am a bit of a dunce. This is 750 per building. Right. I got confused for a second there. No, this is not 250. This is not 250. This is frickin' 750. No. These can die. Oops. This is 750. This is the equivalent of 3 of these. This is this. This much space. This much space outside. This much space outside is this. Right. So as it turns out, it's just one of those factory setups. Oops. Oops. I was here thinking that my setup was 250. No. My setup was 750. Not a measly 250. Granted, again, Exhibit A on the tedium to get that 750. Placing all of those buildings. Where are my bots to bring me stuff? Bots! There they are. There's the swarm. There's my swarm. There you are. How's this power looking? Existent. 22 out of 60. 22 out of 60, huh? 22 over 60. That is times 100. That is 36%. 36 and 2/3. So if I take the current power draw of 700 and divide that by 0.36 repeating, that is 1.9 gigawatts. That's how much power I have available to me. 1.9 gigawatts. So I am using about like a little, like around a third-ish. It is a little over a third-ish of what my power is using. Well, 36, duh, that's around a third. So, yeah, cool. Very good. I have available nearly 2 gigs of power thanks to my My upgrade. My upgrade for power. Alright, did you bring me things? I'm pretty sure you brought me things. Probably need more things, but whatever. This is why I'm carrying around 40 soil extractors and 20 washers, by the way. This is the exact reason why why I carry around so many soil extractors and washers is just for those cases where when I need to build tar. Exclusively for when I need tar. Where are those additional buildings? Did that actually place something? Ah, yes, the water. Needs water. Loads and loads of water. Now, there is another performance thing that you can do with Factory Smo to improve overall performance. I think that's good. I think we're good now. Yeah, just the one water well. And that is to adjust the tick rate on the power. So there is a startup setting for Factory Smo 2, which is power transfer update rate. This does apparently save some UPS by changing this value from every tick to every, say, 5-10 ticks. However, what it means is that you have to go in and like increase the power buffers on each and every single one of your Factory Smo buildings. So, say this is transfer rate set to 100 right now, it would need to be set to 200 or higher. Now, be very careful. Be very careful when you do that, because what ends up happening is that it will attempt to draw in gigs of power all at once, and it can kill your base instantly. Like, I could kill my base if I say set this really high. We can see here, unless it's fine. No, higher. Higher. Set it to the max. Gigajoule accumulator charge. It will attempt to draw a ton of stuff all at once. But it'll spike it a bit, depending on how much is actually being drawn. So it can become a little bit of an issue. If you are on a tick rate that's a larger gap than the every tick cycle. And in fact, you'll know when you have to set it higher because the lights will flicker. The lights will flicker. I may or may not have attempted to set it to 5. It also makes your graph ugly. It makes your graph do very, very bad things. Also, I may have had a slight power problem. I may have had some a power outage. It might have happened. That might have happened at some point. Oh yeah, I have to very much pay attention to when I build things with the bots, cause yeah. The bots will also spike the power draw. I have how many? I have 5,922 construction bots. If they all operate all at once, that spikes the power a little bit. A few hundred megawatts. Like, at least 300 megawatts of power if they're all running at once to build something for me. So, yeah, I have to pay attention to that. However, we're halfway through the stream for the day, which means it is time to take a break. I have officially started making my 750 tar-ish per second. So there's that, at least, that we got done at the... We did all of those, all of that talking for all those updates to the base, and now we can finally focus on getting our tin mining and processing started and done. We'll see how much I get through in an hour and a half from now, but we shall see. For those watching the VODs on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. For those watching live, stay tuned. In a few minutes when I return from my break. See you soon.